All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Quinn Snyder just wrapped up his first full season as the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, and this franchise is still stuck in neutral. I say this because Atlanta was one and done in the play-in tournament as they were sent home by a depleted Chicago Bulls team last week. Now, after getting to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021, the Hawks have never been able to get past the first round since then. You look at this past season, a very explosive offense for the Hawks as they were fifth in the NBA in points per game, but then they were also 28th in points allowed per contest. You figure Atlanta was averaging scoring 118 points per game, but then they were averaging giving up 120 and a half per contest, and that's part of the reason why this team was 10 games under 500 during the season. I'm not going to sit up here and not talk about the fact that Trey Young did also miss 28 games during the regular season for Atlanta. But you look at this team, and the questions are: what changes should the Hawks make in order to improve? Now, some people are going to agree with what I'm about to say. Some people are going to disagree. It's all good. The bottom line is, in my opinion, Atlanta is too perimeter oriented. You look at Trey Young and you look at Deontay Murray, and for my money, somebody's got to go. And I say this because you're only going to go so far with that. And you look at Quinn Snyder, the head coach of the Hawks. He's been a guy who, for the most part, has had perimeter-oriented teams. You go back to his time with the Utah Jazz, and that's part of the reason why his Jazz teams there were never able to get past the second round of the playoffs. And I think that a lot of that has been transferred to the ATL with the Hawks right now, as they are a perimeter-oriented team. You have both Deontay Murray and Trey Young, both of those guys. They're ball oriented guys. They take a lot of shots. And at the end of the day, I think somebody has to go. I don't know who's it going to be, but somebody's definitely got to go. The Hawks have to improve on defense as well, because you ask yourself, if instead of giving up 120 points per game, maybe if they were giving up like 110 or maybe 112, we're probably not having this conversation right now, because the Hawks are still playing. You have to win with your defense. But, I know that Quinn Snyder just finished his first full season with the Hawks. I know he took over mid-season last year in Atlanta. But at the end of the day, what is this team's identity? That is the million-dollar question going forward for the Hawks. What type of team do they want to be? And they've got to find a way to get out of their own way if they're going to try to compete in the Eastern Conference. You look at it, and it's one of those where they might have reached their apex a couple of years ago when they reached that Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Trey Young was locked in, of course. John Collins, who has been traded since then, was playing for a contract, and these guys came up big in the postseason, but it just has not been able to transfer to this team going forward. And at the end of the day, if the Hawks want to try to keep up with the big boys in the East, your Celtics, okay, your Milwaukee Bucks, your Sixers, your Knicks. I'm still going to throw the Miami Heat in there, even though that they're an eight seed. The injury to Jimmy Butler, and of course they are a formidable playoff team. But nonetheless, if you're the Hawks, these are the big boys that you have to try to keep up with if you're going to be serious players in the East. If not, you're going to continue to be what we just saw, possibly getting to the play in, maybe winning a game or two and getting to the first round, but that's going to be your ceiling right now. So it's an important offseason for the Hawks coming up. They have to decide what team that they want to be. At the end of the day, I think it's either got to be Trey Young or Deontay Murray. Somebody's got to go. As far as, you need to get a little bit bigger. Okay. You still have your outside presence with one of them, but then, you need more of an interior presence. You need more of a balanced team. in my opinion. Until that happens, we're basically going to see the same results that we're seeing right now from the Hawks. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.